Anyways, I went to the airlines and we are live now. I went to the airlines and flew for ExpressJet for a couple of years. And they were going to close the Cleveland base. And a job flying corporate here opened up. And the Lord provided. I walked right in. So here I am. If you're online watching, welcome to class night number 1 here for your private pilot ground school. And right now, everybody's going through their private pilot kits. We use the Glime material. In that kit, there's quite a bit of things. So the number one thing you're going to need that we're going to be going over is the private pilot handbook. So if you can find that, that's going to be your number one thing that we're going to use. Maybe I can move this down here a little bit, get a little better angle if I don't wrap it up.
So if we miss a class, we can go back and watch.
Good possibility you could do that. Yep. I don't like that setup either. Too many lights behind me. Oh, I don't like that either. Guess we're better up here. We'll figure it out someday. All right. So that's that. Also in that, you're going to see your FAR aim. So that's going to be a smaller book. Yep, I do believe that was the FAR aim. So those are your federal aviation regulations and your Airman's Information Manual, FAR aim. So if you're wondering about if a controller tells you to descend from 280 to 200, how many feet per minute are you supposed to descend at? It'll tell you it's in there. What am I supposed to do when I'm entering the pattern? How should I enter the pattern? Obviously, we're going to go over that, but it's all coming out of the FAR aim. So everything we're teaching you comes from the FAA, basically. That's that. You're also going to use your ACS and oral exam guide. Did you see that one in there anywhere? ACS and oral exam guide. There it is. So those are the questions that you can get asked on your practical test. So when you go to actually do the practical, and they're going to ask you, you've had your private pilot's license for a couple of years and now you've moved. How many months do you have to notify the FAA that you've changed your address? Those are questions that you need to know as a private pilot. So those are example questions and things that you're going to be asked on that. Right now, we're worried about the knowledge test. I'm just kind of telling you what's in the book. There is also a maneuvers book, I believe, flight maneuvers and practical test prep. All right, should have that one in there. Did you find it? There it is. So that's marketing. This one's the test prep, and what it has is a little bit of kind of another way to study for the test, but then it also goes into some of the questions. And maneuvers. So that book is there as well. And of course, you got your neat little Glime aviation bag, fantastic hats you can be styling, and a couple other bits.
You want it?
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
I don't wear hats.
You don't wear hats?
Yeah, because you have hair. So.
Well, I don't. No, I don't want sunburn because when it peels, it looks like I have bubonic dandruff. All right. Another thing that's in there is that plotter. Looks like yep, that guy. All right. And then there's your E6B. The E6B, if you ever go to a museum for airplanes, there's probably E6Bs in there because that is slide rule 1920s technology. So I don't teach it. You can keep it. You can study if you want. I don't teach it. I suggest highly that you get one of these. And the reason is, when you go to the question will say, what is the crosswind component if the winds are coming out of 220, your runway is 20 at 15 knots. So with that, you have to remember what side of the slide rule to use, there's like 3 different rings with numbers. Okay, is it the outer ring, the inner ring, the middle ring? What's my fuel burn? All these things. Whereas if you just read the question, go to the setting, go to the part of this calculator that'll solve that for you. You just enter in. Oh, the runway was 20. Enter. Oh, the winds? Oh, they were 225. Enter. What was the wind speed? 15. Enter. Oh, your crosswind component there's the answer. You don't have to go through. This is about $80 from Amazon. Now, here's the thing. There's free ones that you can download as an app on your phone. And they work just as good as that. The problem you run into is, Cooper,
You can't take it to the test.
you can't take your phone into the test.
But you can take that.
But you can take that. You can't take any notes into the test. But we're going to draw some things as we go through airspace that'll help you to remember what the airspace is. We're going to draw some things so that when they're like, all right, which airplane are you with this VOR and all that mess and the needles this way, we're going to draw some things that you can go in there. You just have to memorize the picture and you can answer any of the questions on airspace.
Is there any particular brand that we need to get?
There's two different kinds. There's a Sporties and an ASA. So I played with both of them. I used to have the old Sporties that they had, and it was great for a long time. But I left the batteries in it and it got corroded, so I had to buy another one. So I ended up liking this one because it does a couple more things that the Sporties one doesn't. Also, the Sporties one, you got to kind of know where to go. This one's a little easier, a little more user-friendly, the ASA one is, but I think it might be a little more expensive too.
You can actually do flight time with rudders and pedals.
Yeah,
It doesn't count for time, but it gives you practice.
well, there's so many hours. I think you can get a couple hours of sim time for your private.
But for your instrument.
Now, instrument, I think you do half your time.
That's cool.
Yeah, like 20 hours or something. I got to look at we'll look at the regs again, but
Wow.
yeah, it's quite a bit. It's quite a
Saves
bit.
you a lot of money.
It really does. It really does. So that is the kit. So you've heard about me. We talked about you. Let's talk about where we're at. Bathrooms are over here. There's a women's room over there and a men's room over there. There's no women here tonight, so feel free to use either one. We won't question anything. If there's an emergency or something, we'll just get out of here. There's a lot of windows in this room. I don't foresee us having any tornado problems in the next couple of months, but that's that. I plan on running this class until we're done. There's no set time. And then at the end, if we need to have a review class because we just didn't have a good night or whatever, we can come back and we'll meet as a group and just kind of answer any outstanding questions. That'll be it. Yeah, one more thing in that kit is what you got there. So there is an online test taking. So let's talk about how you're going to pass this test. These are multiple guess questions, but they're difficult. The material's not that difficult, but you've got to learn to take the test. So in this kit is you log in, you put your number in, there's a key there, and you can log in. I think it's good for a year. You can go in and take as many practice tests as you want. And it's important to do that because just because you think you know the answer, and you probably do, you don't know the best answer in the opinion of the FAA. It's the radio. And it'll start going nuts. I'll turn it off if I have to. But go take practice tests. I can't stress that enough. I won't sign you off.
Take practice online somewhere.
Yep. Now, there's a couple of apps you can download too. So if you want to take some notes, see if I can find the apps if I still have them. Yep. You want to look for Dauntless Aviation. Ooh, did you get a sticker too? Wow, check that out. Nice.
Would you like it?
That is nice. Yeah, you got to put that in the back window of your truck.
Your
or
truck.
something. Yeah, no, we're good.
Dauntless Aviation.
Yep, Dauntless. It just helps you study. You can do a bunch of little mini tests. Okay, it's like $20 for that, and then if you want it to read the question to you, so you drive a lot. I used to drive all day long, so I would study by downloading the questions from Dauntless, and it would download it to my phone, and then I just play it through there, and it'd be like, what is whatever, and then they give you the answer.
And so you know what the answer is. it's almost better to know that than sometimes when you look at a question for multiple choices,
Yeah.
you get the wrong one.
They're so close. They're so close. Yeah.
But to hear the right one,
You hear the right one over and over and over again. And
Dauntless Aviation, $20.
yeah.
Okay.
And then you can also download, they'll read you the question and give you the answer. And you can do like 10 or 80 and you can pick, all right, I want to learn about airspace today or listen to the airspace ones or whatever. I think there's something like 1,100 different questions you can be asked on the private pilot.
How many?
Like 1,100. Now the test is actually 60.
You got a Sporties E6B.
Sporties are the ASA E6B.
Yours is a.
I got the ASA one. I don't.
You like that one better?
I found it a little better. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna write this
But
down.
either one's fine.
ASA E6B.
Mhm.
Electronic. Okay.
That's that. All right. So we're going to take practice tests, lots of those. I won't sign you off to actually go take the written until you've done 3 practice tests in a row, scoring an 80% or better. So it's an undertaking. You got a lot of stuff to do. There's also a syllabus in there if you want to follow that for your training. I think it's in your. You think you already got it in your hand there. That guy, the back one.
Oh, this thing.
Yeah, so that you can kind of log your training and see where you're at. There should also be a logbook in there. Is there a logbook in there? Okay, good. Good.
Power install is my favorite.
Oh yeah. Plane to the sky and try not to die. Yeah. All right. So I think that's kind of our basic introductory there. So we want to get into the private pilot handbook. You can put everything else back in the box or throw it in your hot dog line aviation book case there, whatever you want to do.
The handbook.
Yeah, it's the one we're primarily going to be working out of during this whole ground school. So really, you don't need everything else. If you're going to bring anything, bring the handbook and the FAR aim, because we'll end up learning how to use that. And then if you want to get an E6B, get that, or just download an app on your phone for the time being. You don't have to buy anything right now. And if you need to, you want to borrow mine to go take the test, you can borrow mine to go take the test. I don't care. If you're going to do this as a career, get your own, learn how to use it. You know what I mean? If you just need to borrow mine, though, that's fine. No problem with that. Fun times.
I don't think all these books are supposed to fit into this.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they do or not.
Anybody watching, do you know?
Yeah, somebody's watching.
Is it on Facebook?
Yeah, YouTube.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, we have one student deployed with the National Guard right now.
Oh, yeah, so you can.
So he wanted to watch. I don't know if he did or not. I can also take notes if anybody types me anything too. I'm not sure how that all works out. First live stream. I don't know nothing. I fly airplanes. I don't do computers. I fly airplanes. All right. In our handbook, and we'll go for a while tonight. We'll just see when we get tired, and that's just how we'll do the class. If I see you guys vegetating or drooling over there, we'll move on to something else, like going home and whatever. And
Willie G's.
Willie G's, that's a good one. Chicken wings. All right, so my book's going to be a little different than yours, but I'm on page 5. I can see who the slow kid in class is going to be already.
What's that?
I can see who the slow kid's going to be in class already.
Yeah.
All right, now they say to be a good instructor, you don't read out of the book. I sometimes agree with that. I try to read out of the book as little as possible, but oftentimes they can say it in a way that is concise and perfect, and I can't say it any better. So we will read some out of the book, and I might ask for help. So whoever's got the best film strip voice, you don't even know what a film strip is. So back when we were kids, we didn't have TVs in the classroom. We had film strips. So there was a record player in the back. You know what a record player is? All right, good. So we're making progress. Okay, good. So they would play a record, and they would show a film strip. So it wasn't like a movie, but it would like you advance it one and it'd show a different picture. You advance it one and you have a different picture. But the film strip voice guy would be on the recorder or on the what am I saying? The record player, and then you hear bing, and that meant you had to turn it. And the good kid in class usually got to turn it. Sit there and turn the phone. I was never the good kid in class.
Page.
Yeah.
At the sound
of the tone, please advance to the next
bell,
slide.
or
Yeah.
the sound of
Bing. Today we're going to be learning about mitochondria. We didn't have, yeah. All right. To obtain your private pilot certificate, you must be at least 17 years of age. Does everybody qualify here? Oh, we've got one that doesn't qualify. Be able to read, write, converse fluently in English. We all got that? Okay, good. Obtain at least a third class FAA medical. Now, there's one caveat there. You can go get a, oh crap.
That's going to be my problem.
What's the name of it? I'm having a blank here. Help me out. Anyone? What's the name of it? The thing where you don't need the medical.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's where you do the sport pilot.
No, that's a different rating.
Oh.
You can do. There is one where you can get your pilot's license with just a your driver's license, but you go to the doctor and you guys sit down and you talk about your health and whether or not you should be flying an airplane or not. And I just can't think of the name of it. Some instructor I am.
Private pilot, you don't need your
Medical.
But
you can only use that after you've had one medical. So you've had to have had at least a medical once in your life within the past so many years, and we'll cover that in the medical portion. But if you've never had a medical before, you got to have a medical. If you've had a medical before in the past, however long, you can do the tip of my tongue. Can't think of it. Nobody's messaging me, so that's not helping. All right, we'll continue onward and upward. You must undergo a routine medical examination, which may be administered only by FAA AME. So up in Erie, there's Tercey. I go to a guy in Youngstown because I have a class 1 every 6 months. But there's a few around, and we can get you a list if you need one. And Byron, I don't see any reason why you wouldn't make it.
my vision, when I went before, I had a problem seeing these colors.
Oh, yeah,
Because I'm
colorblind.
green blind.
Yeah.
And they just said I couldn't fly at night.
There might be a restriction.
It's a restriction.
Yep. Like I have
Before
one.
it was like, couldn't do it. Now it's like okay, you can't drive a car unless you have
But
glasses.
so you've had a medical before?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, then I'm pretty sure you might be able to use that other thing that I can't think of the name of.
I just found it right here.
Yeah.
Pilot, it says on April announced that or push forward with private pilot privileges without a medical certificate.
Yes.
Joint effort on behalf of EAA and
But it's
AOP
called
to get
what?
rid of the medical requirement for general aviation pilots.
It's called what? Nothing. Nobody's helping me here. I can't think of it. Well, I'll get it. It'll just pop into my head tonight when I'm trying to sleep.
Yeah.
All right. For operations.
Yeah, I have one. I have it. It's in my logbook.
Okay, good. For operations requiring private recreational student pilot certificate, first, second, third class medical certificate expires at the end of the day, the month earlier. So 5 years, 60 months, and you might want to highlight this. I'll start stomping my foot and saying, 5 years or 60 months after the date of the examination shown on the certificate, if you have not reached your 40th birthday. So that doesn't count. We don't count. But you got to know that for the test. These are test questions. 2 years. They're only good for 2 years if you have reached your 40th birthday.
Oh, so I would do it every 2 years.
Every 2 years.
He would do it every 4 years.
Every 5.
5 years.
5, yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So I do it every 2 years.
Yep. But you're going to have to know both. If you're under 40, it's 5. You're over 40,
It's
it's
easy
2.
to remember.
Yeah. Yep. Even if you have a physical condition, you can still get waivers from the FAA. Big things that they don't want to see, like if you have seizures, things of that nature. Diabetic, that's another big one that they're worried about. But just, they take it on a case by case basis. For me, I have to have corrective sometimes, not every time. Sometimes when I go take my medical, is that an H or a C? I don't know. And okay, put these cheaters on. I can see it just fine. And they just say, well, you have to have corrective lenses within reach or something like that. Or you might have to wear corrective lenses. So not that tough for a class 3. Alrighty. And we can get you an AME. And that is that. So it says down here that you'll have that medical certificate. It'll kind of look like that. You just keep it in your wallet. All right. There's some things you're going to have to carry with you all the time when you fly, and we will get into that stuff. But right now, we're just kind of looking at it. To obtain your student pilot certificate, you must be at least 16 years of age, be able to read and speak English. To apply, you must meet in person with a flight instructor. So what we'll do is we'll get together and we will prove that you are a U.S. citizen. So we're going to need a passport or a birth certificate, something of that nature. We're going to keep that on file because the TSA wants to know that we're not, teaching anybody like 9/11. We'll keep that stuff on file, and we'll go into IACRA, which is the FAA's kind of online way they keep track of everything. And then you'll get a little certificate. It looks just like your pilot certificate. Looks like one of these, that you have a student pilot certificate. It used to be your medical, but now it's not your medical. Dang, I still can't think of the name of that. Medical.
They actually gave me when I did what? 20? How long ago is that, Troy? 20?
Long.
It'll be 28 years ago
time.
this summer.
Yeah.
We started. Mine is actually a little certificate that said student pilot.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was your medical as well.
Yeah. Well, no, this was my flight school gave it to me.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I got my medical, and I could do that.
All right. You gotta take a whiz break.
The old guy thing.
Yeah. Alrighty. I gotta figure that out while I'm sitting here.
We give you lifetime access and quick support if you have any questions. We are so confident in this
quiet. Just be quiet.
course, and we will send you $150.
Just be quiet. Why I can't remember that. Basic med. Jeez, why couldn't I think of that before? All right, so the alternative to the medical is called Basic Med. So you can download and print off the Basic Med Comprehensive Medical Examination Checklist, and you go to your family doctor, and you guys can go through that together, and you decide whether or not.
Can my family doctor issue that?
Yes.
So I can go to him.
Well, you got to print it out.
But he can
understand it before you go there. But yeah, you guys can go together. But there are some restrictions. And again, we're going to go over that in more depth.
My doctor has to go with me to a certified.
No. You guys sit down together with this form, and you kind of go through the form together.
Right.
And you're like, well, you can't go more than 5 minutes without going pee. Is that going to be a problem? And I mean, does that disqualify you from flying an airplane?
I had to go to specific medical doctors that only did
And for a medical certificate, yes, you got to go to an AME.
I'm gonna try that first.
Yeah, well, that's fine. Yeah. Actually, we can talk more about that offline.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll talk about that a little later. But yeah, if you've never had one, and I don't know how long it's been since you've had yours, I think it's had to have been. I think you're limited to like 5 or 10 years or something. So
yeah.
Yeah.
That was the only my problem. That now it's going to be my blood pressure.
Sure.
It used to be like 125/70 constantly. Now it's 140/80.
Mm-hmm. That's not bad. You're good. For you, Coop, can I call you Coop? I'm sorry. What we can do is apply for your glider license, because you can apply for glider at age 13, and then you'll get the same little certificate. But that way, you're already in the system, and we can punch you in. And you can solo on your 16th birthday. So we can do that. There's a way around it.
Yeah.
Because that was a long tradition. You start your training when you're like his age, and then
you actually fly before you can drive a car.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll work on that. We'll get you an answer on that. But I think we can get you your glider license, permit, whatever you want to call it, student pilot license, and we can work on that. Alrighty, so 10-year pilot certificate. So that takes about a month to get that done, 4 to 6 weeks. Like we just sit down, we go through the FAA Iraq or web page, and we bust through it. Alrighty. Now, next thing you need is to receive and log ground training from an authorized instructor. That would be me. Or you can complete a home study course, such as you can go study this book on your own if you want. You don't have to pay to be here. Now, something I think you guys discussed was you wanted the online lessons as well, and I didn't order that. So if you want to go back and add it on, it'd probably be another $70 or something from Glide.
And all that is just reading online.
Well, it's reading online, but apparently I just was looking at it. There are some videos. When I took
he told us about that. We can go onto YouTube and watch it for free.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff on YouTube for free.
Not King, but
not King, but there's a lot of people who've put lessons online.
Yes. He told us, Glenn. No.
YouTube.
He gave us a name of whatever we could go and watch the same thing for free without paying for it.
YouTube has a lot of stuff on.
That's what he said.
Yeah. So if you want to go back and do that, I can call Glenn and try and get that ordered. It's up to you whether you want. But I didn't do it.
How long is our student pilot certificate good for? 2 years
quite a while.
As well?
Well, as long as your medical is good. So you need a couple things to fly. You need a logbook. As your student pilot, you're going to need your logbook with you. We're going to go through all this later. You're going to need your logbook with you, your medical with you, and your student pilot certificate.
Okay.
So those are good until you get your license.
Oh, okay.
It's
sort of open-ended.
It really doesn't. Yeah, your pilot's license never really expires. Your qualifications don't expire, but your currency expires.
So you have to get in with an instructor again.
Yeah, just go do some touch and goes, whatever. And
Just
get re-soloed. So it doesn't really expire. All right, so you're going to log your ground training. So that's what we're doing here. Once we finish this, it might not be me every night that's here for class. I got another instructor that might be helping out, and depending on what the topic is, Mike can help out as well. So we'll come back, we'll make sure that you're proficient, and then I'll sign off your logbook that you've received the ground instruction. I'll put that in your logbook that you got there in your kit, and that'll be that. There's an endorsement that I can put in there. You got to pass the knowledge test with a score of 70% or better. So to take an FAA knowledge test, you're going to have to go to an electronic testing center. There's one in Newcastle. They do tests in Erie, and there's one over in Clarion. So you call ahead. This test costs like $140, at least it used to. I haven't priced them in a while. I think Butler has them too. You can go in there, you can take the race. So
what was it saying about going to Cleveland or Dunkirk, New York, or to take our written tests?
Don't know. Don't know.
He actually said Dunkirk was a place to go.
Oh yeah.
That's what he said.
He might have been talking about the practical. Take the flight ride, the check ride.
Could be.
Okay. I usually send people down to Newcastle for the check ride. Newcastle can do the written as well.
So just go to Newcastle.
Yeah, Newcastle.
Is it nice terrain to fly in and out of?
Newcastle?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can fly down and take it if you wanted to. You also need to accumulate flight experience. You must receive a total of 40 hours of flight instruction. So I'm on page 7. What page are you guys on?
7.
7? Good. So out of that 40 hours, 20 hours of flight training from an authorized flight instructor, including at least 3 hours of cross country. So cross country is 50 nautical miles or better. Usually on the first cross country, I send everybody up to Jamestown. There's intersecting runways. They got a VOR. So it really doesn't matter where the wind's coming from. You've got a runway that's going to be pretty good. Plus you have a VOR. When we do cross country training in our plane, we have a VOR. There's no GPS in there.
So a VOR is?
An omni range. It is a device on the ground that is also on the charts that you know where that is, and you can fly to it by
and that's where the airport's at.
And the airport is just before you get to the VOR.
Okay.
3 hours cross country, so you're gonna have to do that. 3 hours at night, including 1 cross country flight of over 100 nautical miles total distance, and 10 takeoffs and 10 landings to a full stop at an airport. So for the night flight, we fly from here over to Akron. You go right over Youngstown, they got a VOR. We go on over to Akron, they've got a VOR, and we can get in and out of there really well. They both have towers. They watch us we use flight following. They watch us the whole way over and back. So we do that. You also need 10 takeoffs and landings at night. So we can do that here. But if you're going to go on and do this for a living, I suggest you do it at a towered airport. Then that takes care of your commercial requirement that you have to have at least 10 takeoffs and landings at night to a full stop at a controlled airport. 3 hours of instrument flight training in an airplane. So we'll have foggles on and fly the aircraft just with reference to entrance. 3 hours in airplanes in preparation for the private pilot practical test within 60 days prior to that test. So before you go take the practical, we got to study for 3 hours. 10 hours of solo flight time in an airplane, including at least 5 hours of cross-country flights.
So there used to be three separate flights, 2 short ones of so many nautical miles, 50 nautical miles one way, and then one had to be a long one.
Yep.
So they changed all that.
Yep, but it's the same. This is just how many hours you got to fly.
Oh, hours, but then they'll break it down later to 3.
Yeah, we're gonna break it down a little more right here.
Okay.
But I've had guys, they take off and like, man, I did that cross country fast. Like, well, great. Now you got to go do another one because you flew too fast. You didn't spend enough time flying the cross country, and now you got to go fly another one because you got to have 5 hours of cross country. And this is solo time. So the first one we'll do together, and I won't send you till you're ready. And I don't care if you have an iPad or you use a GPS with your phone or whatever, and you use that kind of GPS, but you're going to know how to use it doing the VORs and all that good stuff too. So 5 hours of cross-country flights. On your first cross-country, I send you up to Jamestown. We'll do it together, and then if everything goes right the next day, we come back and you fly up to Jamestown yourself and come back. And then we work on your long cross-country. The long cross-country, I send people over to Bradford, Clarion, and then back here. Once again, there's VORs to follow. You can use Franklin's VOR if it's running.
So straight from here,
over the TDU VOR.
VOR clear to Bradford, you just
you go to the TDU VOR.
And then you
go to Bradford. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
You can't hook on to Bradford from here. It's not
probably not. Probably not. But you can get TDU pretty quick. You just got to get up to 4,000 or 5,000 feet, and you can pick up TDUs.
I've flown that route.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Out of Ticeville Airport.
Nice. Ticeville's a nice little airport.
Yeah,
nothing ever going on there. All right. So one solo cross-country flight of at least 150 nautical miles total distance with full stop landings at a minimum of 3 points, with one segment of flight consisting of straight line distance of more than 50 nautical miles between the takeoff and landing locations. 3 solo takeoff and landings to a full stop at a tower with an operating control tower. So you'll have to go over to Youngstown, do 3 touch and goes, and come back. Yeah, they're great to work with, Youngstown. They know our tail number, and they're good to work with. All right. receive and demonstrate the following skills. So those things under point 8, is that point 8A with you guys?
Yeah.
Pre-flight preparations, procedures, airports, seaplane bases. We're going to go for all that stuff. All right. Successfully complete a practical test, which will be given by an FAA inspector or designated pilot examiner. And I usually send people down to Marty. If you want to go to somebody else, you can do that.
I've heard that name Marty for a long time. How old is he?
He's been doing this forever. So
Yeah.
I am about 80 hours away from being able to go get mine
To do.
to be a check airman type
No
thing.
way.
Yeah, DPE. So I'm thinking about doing that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be good. Alrighty. We don't need to read about what you need to do for an instrument because we're not doing an instrument.
Oh, so this book is more than just,
Well, this is just
this does instrument and
no. This is just what you need for instrument, flight instructor, commercial,
they're telling you that, but it's not.
ground
in the book.
instructor. So to be a ground instructor, here's what you
Okay.
need for that. So this is just some informative stuff. That's not on the test. Now, if I tell you to highlight it, it's going to be on the test. If I don't tell you to highlight it, it's not going to be on the test. For the most part, I'm going to hit all the high points in this class. I'm going to teach you all the main concepts. If I were to go down into the weeds and teach every little point, we'd be here forever. So this is part 61. So we're gonna hit the high points. You're gonna understand the concepts, and we'll work on all this stuff together. But you're gonna have to do some studying on your own, especially practice tests. So that's that. All right. So that's kind of the introductory. Good time to take a little break, and we'll continue in a little bit.
You know what we should do for classes? His mother sends cookies one night, right? I bring cookies one night. You know what I mean?